Today's video is sponsored by W Energy. Use code QUACKERS to save on your order.
Gregor! Get away from the edge! Guys! Guys! Get back, man! Guys! Help me! Guys! Don't let me die, please! I don't want to die!
From the moment you step into the boots of a rig worker, the game's atmosphere just grabs you. The oil rig isn't just a setting, it's an oppressive force bearing down on you. The storm outside feels alive, battering the rig with waves and winds that make the entire structure quake. The level of detail here is astonishing. Every creak of metal, every flicker of light, every shadow dancing across the walls just works together to create an environment that feels unrelenting and downright terrifying. One of the game's standout features is the voice acting. The performances here are phenomenal, adding a raw layer of authenticity to the chaos.
There's no escaping. There's going to be a dozen more rigs up here by the end of next year because the pricks in Westminster want their grubby wee hands on Scotland's oil.
Christ, not this again.
The panic shouts of the crew, the quivering urgency in their voices, and the personal conversations you overhear all breathe life into the characters. You feel their fear, their desperation, and their determination to survive. The voice acting elevates the narrative and adds emotional weight to your journey, grounding you in the reality of the disaster. The story itself is gripping, drawing you in with its slow unraveling of the mystery behind what's happening on the rig. You'll piece together clues through the environment and dialogue, discovering unsettling truths that blur the line between natural disaster and supernatural menace. The pacing here is strong, keeping you on edge as you navigate the crumbling rig and making increasingly harrowing choices. The gameplay combines exploration, environmental puzzles, and survival mechanics. You'll face collapsing walkways, malfunctioning equipment, and other hazards that keep the tensions high. However, the horror elements, while effective in building unease, don't always live up to the potential of the setting. The oil rig with its vast machinery and labyrinth corridors practically screams for more dynamic and terrifying encounters. Instead, we're left with a horror that is often subtle, relying on atmosphere and dread rather than outright scares. For some players, this restraint might be a strength, creating a slow burn experience that lingers long after you've turned off the game. But for others, it may feel like a missed opportunity. The moments of confrontation with the unknown don't always match the grandeur or menace of the rig itself.
Even notice the mess. What are they thinking?
Leaving a sense that the game holds back when it could have gone all in. That said, the sound design is outstanding. The storm is a constant presence, its howling winds and crashing waves serving as an almost omnipresent antagonist. The interior sounds, such as groaning metal, dripping water, distant echoes, and screams, add to the sense of dread. While the sparse use of music amplifies the tensions, it's a game that knows when silence can be just as terrifying as sound. Visually, Still Wakes the Deep is a masterpiece. The storm is rendered with breathtaking detail, and the rig's interiors feel authentically industrial, with grime, rust, and flickering lights adding to the immersion. The lighting deserves special mention, creating shadows and highlights that make every corner feel alive and possibly hiding something sinister. While the gameplay can sometimes feel repetitive, especially in the slower segments, the game's atmosphere and narrative pull you through it. The lack of variety in some sections might frustrate those looking for more action or more significant scares, but for players who value storytelling and immersion, these flaws are minor in the grand scheme of things. In the end, Still Wakes the Deep isn't just about surviving a disaster. It's about immersing yourself in a beautifully crafted world that feels both terrifyingly vast and crushingly claustrophobic all at the same time. The game's voice acting, atmosphere, and environmental storytelling elevate it above the average survival horror experience, in my opinion. And let me leave you with this thought. The rig may be sinking, but the fear it instills will stay afloat in your mind long after the credits roll.